Okay, first thing is AppDynamics. I joined AppDynamics basically 6 years ago now, and I was the first UK sales employee for AppDynamics, and I had done a couple of years at IBM and about 3.5 years at Cisco, so I'd done the big corporate thing. I thought, it's startup time, right? We've all been there. Let's go do that. So it was a beanbag in Bracknell, and I was like, what the hell have I done with my life? I'm in a windowless room on a business park in a place I've never wanted to come to my entire existence. And I've just literally been told, go sell something. My first day was in office at a DevOps conference, on a Saturday with a guy with a pink mohawk telling me, everybody hates you. I was like, I'm paying for this. Leave me alone. Take a cake. So AppDynamics has gone from that point in EMEA. We had no customers that were more than $1 billion in revenue, and we are an enterprise business. We had only 2 customers that were spending over $1 million. Our total revenue was 2.5 million, so we only had 3 customers. And we had just 2 people, me and a bloke in France who just was drunk on wine all the time. And I was like, well, I don't know how we're going to do this. But we did it, and it was through sales and marketing working closely together. Smarketing was the name that it was given, some branding, and that was a lot of boxes of T-shirts ferrying back and forth. But that worked. I mean, Kelsey's spot on. If you don't crack that in the early days, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse, and everyone just sort of arguing with each other. So AppDynamics in EMEA has grown from 2.5 million when I joined 6 years ago to this year we'll just do under 200 million in revenue. And the company at the time was worth $50 million. And now, 2 years ago, we sold the company to Cisco for $3.8 billion, which is the largest multiple ever for a software company based on the revenue that it does, that's ever been bought by a company. And that was 23 hours before our planned IPO, which we were all like, yay, IPO. We had a cake and everything, announced that cake and blue balloons. We had a party. I was half drunk. People were on planes to New York. And 23 hours before that, Cisco came in and paid this money. Now, it's gone great for us because we're an independent subsidiary of Cisco, so we're literally lived the dream and are still living the dream. So far, so good. So what I thought I'd tell you about is a little bit about the mechanisms and the methods that we've used to get there, right? On one hand, there's the kind of the management structure. So my journey was 2 years as an IC, as a rep, did well, was happy about that, got the first management gig in the UK, built out a team, did that for 2 years, and now I'm VP, so I'm second line manager. And we've got a playbook, and the playbook's called the 3 R's. Has anyone heard of that? No? Okay, well, I'm going to give you a little insight into what we got. And the 3 R's are recruitment, retention, and revenue. And they are in that order, right? Because you never put revenue before people, because people are your business. And if you get the people thing wrong, it all goes wrong. And so I thought what I'd do is, instead of talking for 25 minutes, talk just a bit about what do we mean when we talk about recruitment. So we've heard a little bit about some of the things that we should look for, and I totally agree with that point. You should not close your mind based on some of the restrictive hiring criteria. So what are the things that we look for? Number 1, intelligence. And we break that down into 3 buckets, which is IQ, EQ, and street smarts, right? Because you kind of need all 3, right? You can't just have people that are book smart. You need people that are empathetic as well, that are emotionally intelligent. And without that, they'll never create connections with people where they have trust in order to form champions. And when you're dealing in a business that has an ASP of 900 grand and you're selling in a true enterprise model, you need champions. So you need people that are empathetic. And the next point is street smarts. You need people that have been in experiences. I walked through the door today and I met a bloke who 9.5 months had been traveling around South America, and I love that shit, because people that do that, they put themselves in situations that they're different, they're tricky. They learn skills that you can't learn in school and you can't learn as you're growing up. You got to go out and do crazy things with your life. And those kind of people, they thrive in complex, difficult arrangements. So, when we're always looking for a strong academic track record, but also a lot of empathy and a lot of emotional intelligence, good questioning skills. Do they listen or do they just talk? And then also, what have they done with their life? The common skills, the common sense, the street smarts. So the next trait we look for is character. Now, put your hand up if you've ever really found your job really hard, in sales especially, right? Sales is bloody tough, right? We get rejected all of the time, And if you're not resilient, you will fail rapidly in this organization. And what people do when they fail often is they hide. And so it's not easy to see people who are failing. And therefore, A, you can't help them. And B, they decide that they can't help themselves. And there's a great book I read called Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck, and it's all about people who have a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. Fixed mindset being, I am this person and that's all I'll ever be and that's all I can ever do, versus someone with a growth mindset which says, whatever I set my mind to, I'll achieve it. And you need to find those people. Find those people, because if they've been through harsh times in their life, it's really likely that when they get some rejection and some difficult things coming up at work, they'll thrive in that environment. And so look for the people that have had to deal with that difficulty. The third thing we look for, which as long as you've got those first two, because by the way, you can't teach them, right? Is coachability. You know, has somebody constantly put themselves in a situation where they want to acquire new skills? Because especially if you're trying to address the hiring problem, you know, I'm now at 22 sales reps just for the UK. We're at over 70 across EMEA, and good sales reps are hard to find, right? And so what we now do is we don't hire sales reps from IT anymore. We hire reps from finance. We hire reps from marketing. We hire reps from everywhere. Anyone that wants to do selling, because actually they're intelligent and they've got character. And if they're coachable, we can teach them. And as long as you make as much of your selling about a science, and many of you will have heard about Medic and some of the other tools that we use, but as long as you break that down into something that intelligent people can assimilate and then put into action to get results, then as long as they're coachable and they're smart and they're tough, because these things are hard to learn, they will thrive. And the final thing is experience. And it's the fourth thing for a reason. Whereas if you purely just focus on people's results, then you will be deeply, deeply disappointed by people who spin you lies. And it's very difficult to validate people's track record. And you don't know the circumstances under which they achieved 300% one year and then 60% the next year. It's one of the most difficult things to qualify a candidate on, as far as I'm concerned. And you can drill into the deals all day long, but hey, salespeople, they're good at selling stories. So, you know, it's not easy. And beware the candidate that 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, because that doesn't happen either. That's not real life, right? We all know that. So that's why it's fourth for a reason. So that's basically us at About Recruitment. I'm conscious of the 7 minutes, so I'm actually not going to go to the next bit, but I'm happy to talk about anything else, and obviously we'll be on the panel. Thank you.